old Betsy. I've made a few tweaks. Like I said, her build is kind of always, it's not really a set in stone thing anymore, but the last few days there is a certain setup that I've really been liking in the solo queue specifically. So I've basically been gearing her to be a bit more supportive. She's more kind of, you know, she's always been pretty team oriented and very much a team player, but she has actually drifted a bit over time to being more of an offensive, aggressive sort of type of play style that still has some support capabilities, of course. But there was a point in time when I actually really played her like a support that also did some damage, you know, so I'm kind of leaning back in that direction. She still has very good damage. I'm not sacrificing the damage at all. I'm just kind of building it a little bit different so that I have damage and good support at the same time. So the setup right now, I basically have just replaced Deadly Strikes with Order's Wrath. So it's Order's Wrath as a double bar set, Wretched Vitality on the back bar with a bow, Black Rose Prison dual wield on the front bar, Gaze of Sithis Mythic Helm, and One Piece Magma. And then a few skill bar changes. If anyone's been keeping up with Betsy's build, I'll kind of run down these changes here. So number one, using Reflective Light for my crit buff instead of Camo Hunter. And the reason is that gives me a crit buff on both bars. So when I flip to my back bar, I get that crit buff for my heals, you know, so juicier heals with that Order's Wrath, giving me extra healing, crit healing and all that stuff. It's definitely worth doing. Plus Reflective Light is a dot, so it's just more damage too. I got rid of Solar Barrage and replaced that with Caltrops. And that's a major throwback to Betsy's original setup. She had Caltrops slotted for the longest time. And that gives her her source of Major Breach, which she didn't have previously. And it also kind of allows her to, you know, build that house and claim a piece of ground. She puts her Cleansing Circle on the ground, she puts the Caltrops there on the ground, and suddenly, you know, my team has a major advantage in this area. And both of those things cover a huge area as well. Another change is I got rid of Toppling Charge, went back to the Javelin, another throwback to her old setup. And so it's a lot more like, with the version of her build that I've been using up to this point, it's very aggressive. It's very like chase people down. You know, if there's a Sork streaking away, she's going to gap close them and gap close them and gap close them again and stay on top of them and make sure they die, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But with this setup, you know, there is no gap closer, and it's much more of a stand your ground, stay with your team, you know, kind of mentality. It's a very different shift in how I'm approaching the fight. It's much more, you know, how I used to play this character, and it feels good to kind of get back into that, and it's super duper effective. Another big change: no beam. Got rid of the beam. I replaced it with Radiant Aura, which is that ability that gives you and your team all 3 minor recoveries for a minute at a time, and it's a free cast. Really good ability. But yeah, the beam. You know, the more I use it, the more I feel like I don't really need it. For one, you know, against good players, it often just doesn't kill them, you know? Like, people have figured out if you just hold block and cast a heal, you don't die. You know, it's kind of that easy. And if you're in melee range, I mean, this is a StamPlar, so I'm fighting in melee range, then the second someone gets into execute range, they just start bashing while healing, and that bash will interrupt your beam, you know, and by the time you break out of that interrupt, they've already healed all the way back up. You know, you would have been better off just continuing to spam jabs. And I've actually ran into that a lot of times, and actually for a while there, even when I still did have the beam still slotted, I would be in situations like that where I'm in melee, this person is in execute range, but I'm choosing to just keep spamming jabs because I don't want to get that beam interrupted, and I just want to make sure they die. So I've ran into that so much. I've ran into so many cases where someone has like 10% health and they're still just not dying because they're block casting heals and everything. So it's just like, I don't need this beam, you know. I'm gonna put Radiant Aura on there. It's gonna help me support my team better. It gives me better sustain as well, so I can be a better support when I need to be. It's just a more fun way to play. I never liked the beam anyway.
There's no season, there's no time, just palm trees screaming paradise. Just a big hole in my mind, just never ending sunshine.